Welcome, proud warriors of Kronos. I am, of course, Caliph, son of Kolar, and today we have a special treat. Back when I was first trying to get into the Klingon culture, I stumbled across a warrior that actually sings the in our Klingon language, and I thought it was amazing. I downloaded the album, and she has 4 albums completely out there now. Let's pop this up here before we get into it so you guys can see what we're talking about here. There she is. Klingon Pop Warrior. I want to thank you for being here with us today, obviously. It is a great honor to have you here. Again, that Warrior Woman album was the first introduction I had to you. I loved it. I played it constantly. My family was telling me to stop.
Let it go. Even in Klingon, let it go gets old.
Well, with us today on the panel, we have Patricia. Go ahead, Patricia, and introduce yourself.
And I am Patricia, also known as Katala, and I am Calibus's ambassador.
And we have our resident. We have our resident Starfleet officer, Miss Liz. But please tell us about yourself, and how did you get involved in all this?
Yeah. Hi. So hi, I'm Jen. People know me as the Klingon Pop Warrior. I sing pop and rock songs translated into the Klingon language. And, it all started as, frankly, as all good things do, it started as a joke. I was an actor who got a gig. I was in a Klingon Christmas Carol here in Chicago. It started in 2010, and I did it for 2 years, and I was taking a year off. And while I was taking that year off, I got a message from the director and friend of mine from the show who was like, hey, the Improvised Star Trek podcast needs somebody to sing Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer in Klingon, and I want to give them your name. And I had known Chris for a really long time. I had lived in the Twin Cities for 8 years before moving back home to Chicago. And so he knew me up there. And I sang in bands when I lived up there. And did a lot of covers bands and stuff like that. So when he asked me, I jumped at it. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, it's like the perfect marriage. It was, the kind of the perfect marriage of all these things that I enjoyed: the Klingon language, singing in Klingon, and then singing covers as well. So we did it, and it was only supposed to be like a little bit of background for one of the podcast episodes, episode 59. Today is a good day to cry. And we finished recording it, and we were laughing, and we're listening back, and it was just supposed to be like this little like button joke at the end of the podcast. And somebody in the room was like, we should make a music video. So we did. A couple weeks later, I was jumping around on in front of a green screen and some ridges and this goofy, fluffy pink thing. It's really, you can find it online if you Google Klingon Kiss Me. And we put it out on the internet, and figuring, maybe people who watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, and our friends would watch it. And within 48 hours, we'd been picked up by all kinds of blogs. We were on teamcoco.com, Conan O'Brien's website. We were on the Mary Sue. It just kind of took off. And at the time it was like 2013. So going viral was like a much lower bar back then. We were still, even at that point, it was, barely like modestly viral. But we had about 100,000 views in less than 48 hours. It was pretty wild. And I was like, well, maybe there's something to this. Maybe we should do more songs. And didn't have a lot of time then, but the next year I managed to get my hands on some other translations, and just thought it would be fun to go into the recording studio and make an EP And I was like, well, I'll do a Kickstarter and see if people will enjoy that. And I hit my goal. And so the first EP came out at the end of 2014, and I figured I would, do that one EP, and that would, might be it. And maybe I'd get to perform at a couple of conventions. And here we are 8 years later. So, yeah. Funny how life takes you places.
I mean, it was amazing because, and that's funny because I started this 7 years ago. And like I said, I was hungry for anything Klingon, and when I found your video, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then of course I found the album, and I downloaded, because at first it was like you could download singles, and then of course
Right.
your whole album thing came out, and that's when I did that. And it was just such a great thing. And we were passing it around to all the other Klingons. I'm like, you got to check this out. You got to check this out. So it was really refreshing and amazing to see, that, and the fact that how you did those songs. I really wanted to put out or have a bit of your song, but how Facebook and YouTube are. The moment you do that, bam. I mean, it's not like we're getting paid to do it, but I don't want to take the chance, and I don't want to mess with anything else. So
Yeah.
I
know.
yeah,
I don't do any ad revenue on YouTube, and I only put live performance videos up on YouTube right now. And it's it's the safest, it's just the safest way to go. I'm not in it to make anybody angry. I pay for my song rights, but my song rights are really only good for for internet downloads and CD copies. It's not
right.
like I can just go and make all the music videos, and I certainly don't want to cross the mouse. I'm not Disney. Disney's got much better lawyers than I do. So
Yeah.
so yeah, and that's fine. I'm not in it. I'm in it because I've been doing it because I have a blast, and it's so much. I just love to do it, and I raise money for charity, and that's, yeah, everything that it all goes back into the project. Anything that I am lucky enough to make just gets kicked right back out to charity, or I refreshing a wig, like it's
Yeah.
and paying for song rights, because I do have to re-up my song rights pretty regularly. So just making sure that I stay on the good side of everybody, and that also includes CBS Paramount. Like, I certainly don't want to make them angry. But so far that actually hasn't been the case, and I'm really grateful. So,
Well, we're grateful for you because we've been trying. We here at the Proud Warriors of Kronos, all we're trying to do is promote the Klingon harmony, and it is wild to me that we have like groups of Klingons that just don't want to get along with this group over here and that group over there. But your music brings us together.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really fortunate because here in Chicago, it's a big city, and we have a number of folks here who cosplay Klingon. We have multiple Klingon fan groups, but everybody who's a member of one is a member of the other here. There's no animosity there's no animosity here. And that's something that has been really important to me. It's like, people like to say, oh, she's a member of this group or that. And it's like, well, I'm a member of, that's who we have locally, And so that was where I started. And, so it was like, yeah, I'm going to be a member of that group because that's who we had here. And that's how I got started in the fandom too. When I was an actor who got a gig, but I had to work with local fandom. And so it was working with local fandom and doing the show that just made me fall in love with Klingons and made me fall in love with the Klingon language. And it's what that show is what made me a Star Trek fan, really. And, it's, I don't understand anybody. There's the phrase, yucking on someone's yum. Like, I just don't understand anybody who just has to get up in somebody else's business about what they like, how they like it. I've always just been like, yeah. So I didn't really start watching Star Trek until like 2010. Come at me. I'm a Klingon language consultant with now for an actual Star Trek show, like because of this project. And like, I don't know, just let people love what they're gonna freaking love.
Yeah, that was one of the things that we were always talking about. But I mean, I love how you said that, because I know in your 8 years now, you must be really good at, I mean, even with the song, playing in your head and all that other stuff and learning the language. We got another message here from B.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
One of my friends who we're about hopefully on April 5th the next year for First Contact Day. We're actually hoping to put on a cabaret here in Chicago. That's a Star Trek themed cabaret.
Wow.
And she does burlesque. She watched Discovery and loved it. And Discovery was her gateway drug into, like, now she's watching Deep Space Nine and, all these other shows. Like, if people just would stop with the gatekeeping for 5 seconds and, like, just let people enjoy it, wonderful things will happen. And so, like, this is somebody who only just started watching Star Trek during season 1 of Discovery, and now she's getting ready to produce a whole, Star Trek themed cabaret. And like, we're going to have music, and there's probably going to be sexy dancing, and it's going to be a blast. So I don't know. I just have fun. Like, this is the one thing that has been so important to me is, like, especially when I got into, like, was doing the show originally, when I was originally doing Klingon Christmas Carol, like, Klingon fandom frankly had a really bad reputation. It had a bad reputation 11, 12 years ago. Because of the infighting, because of people thinking that being a Klingon gave them a license to be a douchebag at conventions and push people around or be mean or whatever. And it's like, that's not it at all. And, a lot of people will be like, well, a Klingon really would a Klingon really sing love songs? It's like, are you kidding me? Klingons have love poetry. And like, and I'm sorry, but when your motto is today is a good day to die, like, it makes everything so immediate. Like,
Right.
you don't just fight hard. You party hard, you laugh hard, you love hard, like, you do everything so much more passionately when, that's your credo. So of course I'm gonna sing love songs, like.
Well, it was funny that you again would say that, because we were Katala, she is with a group, and she was doing the I believe was the love sayings.
I have to come up with 15 different love sayings for Star Trek Live the Experience, which is a Spanish Star Trek group. They want me to be their, well, I am their Klingon teacher and cultural expert, and they've pulled me in to do November and December the love sayings, and then I also have to come up with a definition of parmach, and the Klingon wedding rituals, which I thankfully all
Well,
have in my
Parmak
notes.
Parmak means love. Parmak is a noun. Parmak is a noun. It's not a verb, so it's only a noun. There actually isn't a verb for to love. Um but there are words for like beloved and romance, and that's Parmak is beloved is love or romance, but in like the noun sense, like you are my, my love, this is our romance, um kind of thing. Yeah.
See, I mean, and it's just so great to have these discussions. But one of the things that I wanted to tell you was that anytime that you want to promote whatever you're doing, drop it on the Proud Warriors. We're just here to, like I said, just promote the great fandoms, and you're definitely one of my favorite Klingon people. We had J.G. Hertzler on here before,
Nice.
which I never thought would ever happen. I mean, we're only like 860 something people on this group. Our main page only 1,200, and like 30 something people on our YouTube channel.
Hmm.
And Patricia was like, just ask him. I was like,
Right.
yeah, I'm sure that's gonna, 20 minutes later, the man responded, and boom, he was on the show, and he's coming back on the show soon to do
Nice.
another segment, which was nice. So having you on the show also is, a huge deal for me, because like I said, every day going to work, I would hit my MP3 player to play it in my car, and it was just
It's so
being
fun
Klingon.
too, because like oh, Elia-chan kapla bat jet mat ka shuvwe. um the uh the 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 first EP, like I'm super proud of it because it was such a like capsule of like where I was at, like in that like moment, and all of those songs were songs that people had already translated before. I basically put out an ask, and I was like, "Hey, does anybody have any other songs translated?" And that EP is basically like those songs. And then once I did that first EP, I had essentially like and put it out there. There was a level of credibility that came from that within the Klingon language community, because they were like, "Oh my gosh, these not only are the translations accurate, because I actually got them from members of the Klingon Language Institute, but the I was pronouncing things correctly for the most part. There's definitely some mistakes. There's mistakes. I call them Easter eggs. There's usually at least one good mistake on pronunciation mistake on every single one of my EPs, and I know them. But like the that meant that I could then go, and so my second EP, which was Bomeku, Fierce Songs, I was actually able to ask people for translations for that one. So that was really fun, because I think the only one on there that was done prior to my to recording was Over the Rainbow. And actually, I think that Don't Stop Believin', it was like partially done, and then that translator completed it. But Shosh was the first song that I had a co-writing credit on. I did a lot of the cultural stuff, while my friend John did most of the language lift. And then with my third EP, Great Deeds, Great Songs, I actually did I translated 3 of those songs by myself, which was really really exciting. And then the Charity Sessions EP, 4 of those 5 songs I translated myself. So like once I really started getting more comfortable with the language, it's been a lot of fun. Oh, you're muted.
That's kind of like my signature thing. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask her? I don't want to. I know I've been dominating most of the conversation, guys. So I apologize. I'm just kind of a little excited.
Ask away.
So, does anybody have any questions for her?
I'll just sit here and sip my wine.
Oh, I got a question. What kind of wine?
Oh, it's actually funny. I just finished this bottle. I opened it the other day. It's actually the Federation Reserve Red.
Wow.
The Star Trek Federation Reserve Red.
Oh, cool.
It honestly, it's just a coincidence. It's just what was open. But I was drinking it for in honor of Fleet Week for Star Trek Online on Tuesday, and so yeah.
Also, you play Star Trek Online.
I do. I play every Tuesday night. I actually stream on Twitch twice a week. Tuesday nights are Trek Tuesday. That's actually Kep. Kep means it's basically like the chik is alcohol or booze. It's the happy hour. So, and so from 6:30 to 9:30 Central, I play Star Trek Online on Tuesday nights, and I have a really tiny little unimportant beginners fleet, so that if people just want to like figure out the mechanics of fleets, you can come and join the Purple Fleet and just figure out what it's all about, and how the resource contributions work, because I'm learning as I go. I've been playing for 2 years, and every week I'm learning something new. And so so that's Tuesday nights, and then Saturday mornings, Central Time, 8 to 11 Central, I play. I do like a lot of like story driven games. I've got my little Garrus back here. I'm a big Mass Effect fan. Ooh, look, I'm knocking shit over. I'm a big Mass Effect fan, and so once I've played through the whole Mass Effect trilogy, I just started playing Dragon Age for the first time, and so Dragon Age Origins is what I've been playing the last. I don't know. I just started. I'm still pretty early on in the game, so yeah, it's an adventure watching me figure out a game.
Well, I'll definitely look you up for that Star Trek stuff. I hadn't been on in a while, and I went to the 50th anniversary of Star Trek in New York, and I got the original crew set, and I got the Enterprise F T-shirt.
Yeah.
And I went to go back into my account, and I couldn't do it because the email I used I can't get into.
Oh no. You might be able to email their technical support or something like that. I don't know how that all works though.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to start over. I mean, there was some stuff in there that I wanted, but the game has changed a lot. When I logged back into it, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, there's so many. The new missions too, the new story arc with a lot of the discovery stuff. Because when I started playing strictly for the story. So which is a very different way to play than a lot of people who really get into it. Like they're in it for the ships and the DP, and the DPS, and they're, like, and stuff like that, and the TFOs, and like that's not why I was playing. I was like, I really just wanted to play the story. And what was really fun for people who ended up in my stream, and now I know a lot of the regular Stowe streamers, and like so many of them hang out in my stream, and we're hanging out in my stream because they had kind of, I think, forgotten the joy of discovering the game. And so like they've played through those missions so many times, so getting to watch somebody who had never played before go to Deep Space Nine for the first time, like that was like 15 minutes of childlike wonder on my part. Just so joyful. And now I'm actually doing TFOs, and I'm even not afraid to do random TFOs with strangers if I'm kind of feeling up to it. I'm not great but I've learned so much, and I've learned so much from the Star Trek Online streaming community, because they've all been so incredibly generous with their knowledge, and it's just fun. Now I just have a blast. I have to remember, when this is done, I've got to remember to log in and do my daily, because there's an event happening that ends like tomorrow morning, and I don't want to make the same mistake I made last event and lose out on my ship.
That happened to me a couple of times.
Well, they ended it early. There was a bug. There was a bug. They ended it like an hour plus early. So they ended up like reopening it for people, because I wasn't the only one. But yeah, I'm not going to do that again.
I'm definitely going to check it out, because I've been wanting to play for a while. If I could get off COD long enough.
If you do, shoot me a message, because I have some codes from Mission Chicago still.
Okay.
So I can get you a Mission Chicago code. Also, I think I've still got some left, because I do Extra Life. Extra Life is how I got into streaming. Actually, I broke my ankle in 2015, and I started playing video games a lot more. I always played video games growing up, but I'd kind of gotten away from it. And so I started playing games. Like, I was laid up non-weight bearing for 13 weeks. I basically couldn't go anywhere. And so I was like, that was when I played the Mass Effect trilogy for the first time. I went back and I was like, started playing just a bunch of things that I had never gotten around to playing or finishing. And that's when I found Extra Life, and I was like, oh, you mean I could do something for charity and play video games? Awesome. So I did it in 2000. That year, I also found out I was going to be an aunt for the first time. I had like 3 or 4 friends and family members who announced pregnancies. And I was like, you know what? In honor of all of your sleepless nights, because that's not me, thanks. Not for me. I will, I'll do this charity event, and I've been doing it every year ever since. I do a big 24-hour marathon. My marathon actually is at the end of this month, October 29th. And the Charity Sessions EP that got released earlier this year, those songs were all translated for last year's Extra Life event. That they were all songs voted on by people who helped contribute to my Extra Life campaign last year. And I'm doing the same thing this year. And if I hit my goal, and I'm less than 500 away from hitting my goal, I actually have 4 more songs that got translated for this year's event. They'll be performed. They'll be debuted on my Extra Life stream on the 29th. And then if I hit my goal, everybody who donates to my campaign will get a copy of the EP in the new year. So.
You count me in for that one too.
Dragon Age Origins is one of my all-time faves. Never finished it, but played like 10 different times. Yay, B! Yeah, that's me playing Mass Effect too, because it's just like, I just want to romance Garrus. Thanks, bye. Just an absolute delight. You're so much fun to watch. Have a great time. Oh, thank you, Elliot-chan. Thank you. Story is key though. Like, I like playing. I can play, and especially because I've been streaming now regularly for a couple years. Like, because I'm playing games more, I'm not nearly as bad at them as I probably say that I am, or even think that I am. But part of what I enjoy is starting a new game on the stream and failing miserably, and and learning, and and doing better, and getting to celebrate my wins it with other people. Like, so yeah, and letting people tell me what to do every once in a while. It's like, wait, what should I choose? I don't know. And then like chat being like, go this way or do that. I'm like, okay, I don't know any better. Fine.
Well, look, it was an honor to have you here. We're hitting the 30-minute mark, and I hope you guys aren't a little too upset at me kind of dominating the conversation. It was just something that happened. I like I said, every day going to work, I'm listening to what that Warrior Woman album, and it was just inspiring for me. But we are definitely going to help keep pushing and promoting all this for you. Once I find out where you are on Twitch, I'm going to put the link in the Proud Warriors, and I'm going to try to
very
get on there.
easy. I'm very, very easy to find. Everything is either /Klingon Pop, at Klingon Pop, or Klingon Pop Warrior. Like, I'm at Klingon Pop Warrior on the TikTok. I just joined TikTok finally. So you can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Twitter. I'm on Twitter more often than not. So yeah.
All right. So does anybody have anything to say? I know it's like the last couple of seconds, but does anybody have any questions or anything else they would like to ask her?
Hi, first generation Trekker right here. And I'm just glad I get to see Patricia and Wolf before I go to Florida.
Well, thank you, Miss Liz, for that. But
I just came in to see what was going on, and you told me about it this afternoon, and I thought, well, yeah, I'm not doing anything tonight. So.
As a first generation Trekker, I thought you would love the Klingon experience. Yeah, because I'm telling you, I wish I could play one of her songs, but like I said, Facebook and YouTube get really crazy when you do that, and I don't want to push.
Yeah, they're cranky pants.
Buttons. But guys, go out, pick up these albums. As you can see, a lot of this stuff just goes for for charity or just to help her promote more good Klingon fandom. And with that being said, I want to thank the Klingon Pop Warrior once again. Hopefully you'll come back. And definitely, when you're getting ready to do your 24-hour thing, put it up on the page. Let everyone know.
Absolutely. It's the end of this month October 29th. I start first thing in the morning and I go until the next morning. It gets real weird at like 3 a.m. Real weird.
Well, and Patricia, I want to thank you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have got her. We wouldn't have the honor of hosting her here on the show. And again, thank you all very much for being here. Have a good one.